All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Bennington Museum and Music at the Museum. My name is Dina Mallory. I am the Director of Public Programs here at Bennington Museum, and it is my pleasure to introduce today's program. Before we begin, if you are carrying one of these on your person, would you please make sure that it is set to silent or turned off so that you don't accidentally become part of the performance. Before we begin, I would like to give my deep appreciation to the wonderful sponsors of the Music at the Museum series, Allison Novak and Bob Kane, who made this all possible. I'd also like to let you know that you're very fortunate to be here today because our air conditioning broke a couple of weeks ago, and it was 90 degrees in here. So luckily that has been replaced, repaired, and we can enjoy this air-conditioned bliss. This was a very unexpected breakdown. It happened about 4 years before their scheduled retirement. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I wonder when would be a good time to make a donation to Bennington Museum? Now's a great time. We'd be happy to let you share our joy in our new air conditioning system. I'm also very excited to let you know that in September, we will be starting, believe it or not, the 10th season of the Music at the Museum concert series. Pretty amazing. We're really excited to be reaching this anniversary, and miraculously, we have all 4 concerts, dates set for the entire season, next season, 24-25, and they are all on the back of your program that you can take with you today, stick it on your refrigerator, and you won't miss a single one. All right, and in case you don't feel like you can make it to September without awesome live music, the Concerts in the Courtyard series, which takes place outside every Friday night during the summer, starts this Friday. And schedules for those are on the back table. You can grab one before you leave, and I hope to see lots of you there. All right. So today, we have some wonderful musicians with us who many of you may be familiar with because they all live right here around us, which I always am just so amazed by the incredible amount of talent we have nestled among us here in these wonderful Bennington Hills. Yoshiko Sato's been with us numerous times. Michael Wimberly had an amazing, he was the star of an amazing concert about a year ago, yeah? And Nathaniel Park, I feel like you're kind of like the house band right now. Nat's been with us, I think, the last 3 concerts. So it's really delightful to have all of these talented folks back. And of course, very exciting and great honor to Bennington Museum to be able to finally welcome the amazing cellist, Michael Finkel, who has put this program together and brought us these other wonderful musicians and who will be delighting you with some amazing compositions, also by Vermonters. So not just the musicians in our area, but the amazing composers. And I won't, put anyone on the spot, but some of them may be sitting among you. So that's pretty awesome too. So without further ado, I would like to give a warm welcome to Michael Finkel.
Welcome all. Just a few additions to my bio. I'm a dyed in the wool, is that the right way to be born? Vermonter, right up here at Putnam Memorial, a couple of months after the atomic bomb exploded in Hiroshima, I came. My parents were both prominent musicians in the area, and members of the Bennington College community. My mother attended there as a student, where she met my father, who was her council lead, and then I came about, as well as my brother. We're both cellists, my brother and I. And my first music lessons, cello lessons, by the way, I got my first cello when I was 7. It was, as a Christmas present, it was wrapped in toilet paper. Why, I don't know. But as several musicians here in this house, and that I've known over the years, did in the early years, we had our first lessons in the Bennington County Musical Society, which was just down the hill from here, near the Four Corners. The cellist who gave us lessons was a Hungarian by the name of Franz Lorenz. And many of us had our start with Franz Lorenz. So what I will do is say, in view of the program notes I hope to write, since I hadn't, I will say a few words about each piece as we play it. And the first on the program is a work by Lionel Novak, the father of Allison Novak, who's here. And Lionel came to Bennington because of the summer. At the college, there was a summer dance program, which was not necessarily connected directly to students at the college. It was a program. One of the prominent figures in that was, pardon? Martha Graham, exactly. Martha Graham, yes. Anyway, he was the music director of a dance company in New York called the Humphrey Weidman Dance Company in the 1930s. And this particular piece was written in 1948, you'll see on the program, which was right about the time that he came and joined the faculty here at the behest of Otto Luning, whose name may or may not be familiar to you, but Otto sort of directed the music department for many, many years, and many of the musicians whom I've known over the years who came to Bennington as a result of that were through Otto's interest in them. And another prominent feature of Bennington was in the summer, they had a program called the Composers Conference and Chamber Music Center, which was also held at the college. And Lionel Novak also came to that one summer, as did a couple of other composers on this roster for this afternoon. But this piece coming up is sort of interesting. The music, there's 4 separate movements. Each is a different piece from a different composer, sort of. I have at home a copy of it, and I discovered to my dismay that the sources of these pieces were right there. It's called a historical anthology of music, and it's called the Harvard Anthology because it was published by the Harvard University Press. And the first volume covers Oriental to medieval to Renaissance music. And these pieces, which Lionel saw and expanded and extended, but preserved the context and style and format of these pieces, are from the 15th and 16th century, from that book. And I was just sort of rummaging through that. I saw, oh my gosh, there's that piece. And oh my gosh, there's another. Oh my God, that's a lute piece. That's the one that's in that set by Lionel, the Suite on Old Music. So without further ado, we'll play that piece. first had a stab at it back in, I can hardly remember, 1985. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the 12th tone school of composing. Anybody know? Okay, a few hands going up. So basically the idea was there was a German composer in the early 20th century called Arnold Schoenberg, who, as the Romantic era got more and more dissonant with harmony and more searching for something crazier and crazier and not so based on traditional early Romantic and Baroque forms, Schoenberg discovered that if you take all 12 tones of the chromatic scale, going up in full octave, those notes, and you make, without repeating one of them, you make a 12-tone melody. And you base the whole piece on that organization of the tones. You can create harmonies, you can create melodic ideas, and so on and so forth. And out of that grew a whole school of composing that went, even today, there are composers that use that method to, and at this period, Igor Stravinsky, in his late period of works, started to write serial 12-tone music of great interest. It still had the style and quality of early Stravinsky, the same rhythmic quality and orchestration quality, but gave this sort of dissonant language idea to it. And these pieces were just beginning to record and just beginning to come out. And several students who used to come to our house, we had a hi-fi system back then. We used to sit down when these recordings first came. We would listen to them. We were so, whoa. And a composer at the college, several of them, but one in particular whose work I'll play later in this program, Lou Calabro, used to teach to his students the 12-tone technique, and I took a class of his and studied a little bit of that. So this piece evolved from that, and I'll play it. play for you an interesting piece for two cellos and African drums. Oh, yes. Yes, we'd like to play for you an interesting piece for two cellos and African drums. Dumbek is the name of the drum. And Matt Park and Rebecca Wimberly will join me for this. It's by world musician Derek Jordan, who lives over in the Brattleboro area. And he plays, he was formerly a student at Bennington. I, in fact, taught him for a couple of years cello. And he plays with a group that performed here about 5 years ago, a group called Natural History, which has Barry Hyman and on various instruments, and Jared Shapiro was the cellist in the group. But Derek, who plays a 5-string electric violin, runs a TV channel called World Fusion TV, and it's aired on nationally on 26 different, currently on 26 different TV stations. And what he does is he improvises with his electric violin with musicians, folk musicians, from literally throughout the world. I highly recommend tuning into that and listening to it. This particular piece is based on Ethiopian music, not Ethiopian, Madagascar music. And the thorn forest is a wild forest in Madagascar that has a very peculiar, unique environmental, and apparently the opening second cello guitar lick is from some famous folk musician that he, a Madagascarese folk musician that he was totally smitten by, and wanted to borrow some of those ideas for this piece. But you'll hear some of Derek Jordan's world fusion music in this piece. You'd like to hear that again, wouldn't you? Okay. So next we have a work by Bennington College composer Alan Shawn, the son of the Shawn who was editor of the New Yorker when E.B. White was one of the writers for the New Yorker magazine. And his brother is the comedian Wally Shawn. Alan came to Bennington also, well, I think, let me see. Alan could probably tell you best, but I think it's, oh yes, a composers conference was a big draw. Was in the summer. Alan came to the composers conference, and his then wife was teaching at Bennington, but then there was an absence in the composing faculty at the college, and Alan took the opportunity, came and showed some of his stuff, and they grabbed it. And is still teaching there. And this is a piece not written that long ago, 3 movements for cello and piano by Alan Shawn, who's here, by the way. And it's Alan's wife at the piano. So last on our program is a work by Louis Calabro Also came to Bennington relative to the summer dance program. And his music making with the dance program was so attractive that the music division said, we've got to have him over here to composing with us. And indeed, I became a student of his at some point during that time. This piece he wrote for me specifically, and it's based on sort of the idea of Indian raga with a drone that goes kind of through the whole thing. And it's the only piece of his somewhat similar, anything like it. And he said, I discovered in the score just the other day, I pulled it out, there was a note to me, because he was having it transcribed from manuscript, from handwritten photocopy into print by a student at the college. And he said, by the way, I hope you like this. I do. Which is very lewd, if you know what you know. And later he wrote a wonderful work for my entire family, a triple concerto for 3 cellos, my father being one of them, my brother being another, which we did with the Vermont Symphony and with various orchestras around. And then he also was the founder of the orchestra which I now direct. It's now in its 51st or 52nd year of existence. The Sage City Symphony, our local symphony orchestra. Lou Calabro and his wife Christine founded that orchestra over 50 years ago. He has, Lou, I don't know, somehow I wish it was accessible to all of you, but there's a very interesting interview of him by a student at the college. During the Second World War, he was a paratrooper. And he was sent in the Pacific Theater into battlefields with dynamite strapped to his body, and he would blow up things. And he said he loved it. But after the war was after Nagasaki, when the Japanese signed the treaty, there was a number of Japanese troops still in the Philippines who had no idea the war was over. And he was paratrooped in there with a bunch of other Marines to try to convince these soldiers that indeed no need to continue fighting, the war is over. There's no report from him about how the success of that mission was, but it's interesting that he ended up in our backyard as a fabulous composer, really wonderful composer. Hope you enjoy this piece. coming.